Hello, I'm Dan Johnson. I'm in my hazelnut orchard here, and I'm going to give a demonstration on mound layering using a hog ring pliers to propagate my hazelnuts. First, I'll show you my tools I'm using. Uh, Here they are, right here. This here, I'm using a pruning shears, scissor, uh, electrical pliers that I use for help crimping, and this here, ouch, is my hog ring pliers, and these are the rings that'll crimp around the pliers, around the stem, I mean. And I just have to get there we go. I'll give you a demonstration. Here it is, the hog ring pliers. I'll give you a demonstration on a pencil, how you crimp it around the stem. Can you see that? And I found out one problem with this crimper is it doesn't crimp small enough. It's supposed to be a 1/4 inch. So I use a electrical pliers to crimp it tight. There it is. Oops. There's the ring that will girdle the stem. And now we'll move to the actual stem, which is, I'll demonstrate that. This is a stem. Earlier I've bent this stem over, as you can see at the bottom here. So it's a little ways away from the plant. Here's the main stems on the plant. I removed one of the stems to promote suckers to come up. So far I only have 3 suckers here, and I tried to bend them over so I have room to layer. Now I will show you here I'm going to crimp the stem right here. There is the crimp. Can you see that? I have a piece of grass in the way. There's the stem that I crimped, and I will tighten it up with my electrical pliers. There. And then I apply some rutting hormone. Here's the rutting hormone. About 1 inch of rutting hormone on here, around the crimp. The main reason I bend it away from the stem is because I don't want to copiece the whole plant. I want this is an exceptional plant, and I want the hazelnuts from it. So, and next, here's a tar paper ring that I made up, in which I'm going to put over, let's see if I can do this one-handed, over the stem. There, I have the tar paper ring on there. And next, I fill it with compost. I use compost because that's readily available, and it seems to work really well. This is the compost here. It's just leaves and grass from last year. And I will fill up the ring. I'll try and fill it up with one hand. There we go. And I do remove any of the lower stems or leaves that are in the way, right here. I probably should add a little bit more. There we go. Okay, that's about right. Oops. Okay. And then I keep it wet through the summer, and then next spring I will bend the stem back and forth, and if it breaks off and there's roots, I will transplant it to pots. And these are some of the layered plants from last year. And as you can see, some of the stems are bent from bending them away from the plant. And then I've also layered some other plants here. A quick tour through the orchard, and I'll show you other plants that I've layered. Here's one here. This plant is layered. I layered this plant. Can you see it? I layered this plant 2 years ago, and I removed a lot of the lower stems, and it produced a shoot right here. So this plant here is a clone of the plant we've just seen, and it has produced a shoot, so that'll be a clone of the clone. And sometimes these stems do not rut by next fall, or next spring I mean. So I'll leave them in another year, and we'll show you a 2-year-old plant that I just planted this spring. Here is a 2-year-old hazelnut plant that didn't root the first year, but this year, I've just planted that this year. And it's about 4 feet high. I usually remove the top because I found out the top usually dies anyway. And by removing the top, I get a nice leaf structure. And this is the rest of the orchard. And